Does it feel like everything is falling apart? Like the world you've once known is coming into question? That everything you've built is now sitting on a rocky foundation? What feels like an existential crisis may actually be your spiritual awakening. Things are needing to fall apart in order to rebuild them again the way they were always meant to be. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. The thing with our awakening, it's waking up to the truth. So when we wake up to the truth, the lies and the unsolid foundation start to crumble. People get triggered by the word spiritual awakening because they don't understand it. But in actual fact, what you're doing is waking up to the truth. We are spiritual beings living a human experience. And our souls are here for purpose, for mission. But when we're living out of alignment with that mission, we're going to be shaken up to wake up. And that's the objective of an awakening. This is what we need to do. This is the way it needs to happen. And it can feel like a complete existential crisis. You're questioning everything you've ever known, like everything you've ever known. The life you've lived was based on a lie. That what we've known for generations was fucking bullshit. And that's scary. Like when we come into this world, we forget. We forget where we come from. We forget that we're spiritual beings. We forget that we're here for mission. And I believe every lifetime we go through the same things over and over again, but we get them better each time. And then when we get to the stage where we're awakening, this will be our final lifetime. So this is our biggest transformation. And oftentimes people who have gone through awakening have gone through an awful lot of trauma as well, because we're healing not just wounds from this life, but wounds from past lives. And I think that's what awakening also leads us to, is that deep inner healing. And that's amazing. It's like, I'm going to be explaining a bit about how hard awakening is. But at the end of the day, awakening to your truth is the most beautiful thing you'll ever do. It is the most enlightening thing you'll ever do. And it's mind-blowing, because you get to discover more about who you really are and more about why we're on this planet and where we came from and why we exist. Now that's amazing. So, even though the transformation into spiritual awakening can be scary and can be very life-altering, it's the most worthwhile thing you'll ever do. Because when we're still conditioned, we grow up and we are like, our ancestors for generations have been led to believe that we have to live a certain way. We've been disconnected from our souls. We've been in this slave mentality society of you have to do it this way or you're fucking going to die. If you don't do it the way everyone else does it, you're doing it fucking wrong. And, you have to do that. Like, this is the thing as well. And, it's the same as a midlife crisis. It was never a midlife crisis. You start doing the things the way people tell you to do them. Okay? So, for example, you grow up. You're literally controlled from day one. You're wearing a uniform in school, like you're in this little army of these things that you can be brainwashed. You have to do it the right way. You have to go to school. You have to go to college. You have to get married to the nice person down the road, the farmer down the road. You have to fucking live beside your mother for the rest of your life and do it all like that, or you're doing it wrong, and have 2.5 fucking children and all this kind of crap. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but this is what we were brainwashing to believe in. And I'm all for the happy family thing, but are you doing it because you want to do it? Or are you doing it because your mother wants you to do it? Or society wants you to do it? Are you following the path of all the fucking sheep that are going off the cliff? Ask yourself that question. And then people who have done it the right way literally end up in their midlife going, oh my God, I'm so upset, I'm so depressed, and they go through this existential crisis. But I don't think it's a crisis. It's waking up to the truth. And thankfully, it's no longer a midlife crisis. It's spiritual awakening, and we're getting to do it earlier. So we're actually getting to transform into our best and true selves earlier than what we would have, because we're waking up earlier than what we have done in the past. Waking up to the truth. Questioning everything. And, I think a lot of us have gone through a little bit of this in teenage years, because I mentioned this before. When you're a child, you do everything for your parents, or you put on this persona to fit into this world. You're codependent on them. You're listening to all their lies. And it's fucking all lies. And you get to your teenage years, you start using your own brain a little bit, and you start seeing the world a little bit differently, and you're like, hold on now. My parents were liars. And I don't mean this in a bad way. Like, you know, they were doing what they were taught to do, which was all based on a lie. Now, I'm not saying it's their fault. They were conditioned. And, you know, it's like, you start to question your whole existence, your whole reality, especially when it comes to religion or anything like that. Like, you're literally kind of going, what's going on here? Why have I been lied to my whole life? And this is only as a teenager. So then you get to your adulthood, because you go through the conditioning all over again to try and fit into a world you don't belong into. And you go through it all over again. And you go through this literally questioning everything. Your whole experiences in life, your whole life up until that point, everything comes into question. So this is the turmoil part. And, you know, that's the I suppose the mental part of it, the psychological part of it. But there's also the whole fact that everything that you did want, or thought you wanted, your whole existence, your whole life starts to crumble around you. So you end up losing that job, losing that relationship, or, you know, just stuff keeps going wrong in your life, or what you perceive as going wrong. But the thing is here, right, we have been guided against, or brainwashed against, into using our intuition. Our intuition, our soul, will guide us onto the right path. It will show us signs, it will show us direction. The same with the universe. The universe will show us signs and direction. But we don't listen. We're in this conditioned reality. We're on that hamster wheel. We're going around in the same circles every single day. And we're, you know, we don't see outside this cloud. I'm like, you know what? I've been reminded of this over the last week, like how much of a cloud I was in, how much of a bubble I was in, how much of it's like a brainless energy I was in. It's like that zombie energy. It's like, you know, when you're conditioned, you're going around like this zombie and you just don't really see anything. And it's like, I just didn't have control over my brain. That's what it felt like. Because I'm looking back over the last, you know, few years now, and I'm like, there's sections of that before I awakened that I was like, it's actually post-awakening as well, because I'm still in the process of it. You know, on and off, it's like this roller coaster ride. And like on and off, it's like, oh my God, I was effectively stupid for periods of my life, but I wasn't stupid. I was in a cloud of conditioning, in a cloud of thinking I had to be a certain way. And in that cloud, that like I just see it as this cloud, right? It's this veil, this kind of thing that we can't see through. And you just don't see anything other than what's right in front of you. It's like those blinkers the horses have on. You just don't see anything. You just don't see the vast amount of energy or opportunities, or, you know, the life that's around you. And when we start to waken up, these blinkers come off, that veil comes down, and you start to see things more clearly. But prior to this, we have been getting nudges all the time. You know, I look back on my life before I was anywhere near awakened, and I look back on all the messages I was getting, all the warning signals I was getting. So, you know, for example, your body will scream at you. Your body will go into dis-ease or illness consistently if you're on the wrong path. Things will keep going wrong in your life. You'll keep attracting toxic, abusive relationships if you're on the wrong path. And your soul and the universe is screaming at you through these nudges to wake the fuck up and get off that path and get onto a healthier path. But we don't listen because we don't understand how to listen. We don't understand how to receive those messages. So we're constantly in this bubble of darkness, and we're thinking this is the way life. I was like, that's so sad, and it breaks my heart to see people still like this. When you're in that existence, you believe there's nothing else. You believe that life is supposed to be miserable. You believe that everything is toxic. Or you don't even know the word toxic because you think that life is normal. Toxic is normal for you. That abuse, that unhealthy behavior, this disease in your body, this lowered immune system. That you think that this anxiety and depression, that's another thing. Mental health is related to you being off path. You know, your mental well-being and your physical well-being would be better off if you listen to those nudges. But if we're not ready to listen to the nudges, they get louder. They get louder and louder and louder and louder and louder until one day the universe will get a hand grenade and throw it into your life and everything blows up. Everything. And this is not punishment. You're supposed to be on your soul's path, your purpose path. And if you continue down the wrong path, the matrix path forever and for not forever, because you can't do that forever. Oh, imagine, oh God, no, thank you. You know, like, but if you continue down that path, the universe will go, they're shaking you. First they're nudging you, then they're shaking you, and then they're going to go, Jesus, will you just wake the fuck up, please? And then they'll actually, because like if you're not listening to the nudges to get out of that job, to the nudges to get out of that relationship, to the nudges to move on from those friends, and family dynamics that are not actually good for your soul. Do you know, if you're not listening to this voice in your head saying you're here for more, you're going to be forced into it. You know what I mean? If you continue in a job that is not serving you, you're going to be forced out of it. If you continue in a toxic relationship, you're going to be forced out of it. Because we have this, it's our trauma as well that leads us to believe that we have to be a certain way or that we have to stay in a toxic dynamic because that's all we've known. That's all we've ever known. And when we finally get to the stage of being forced out of our own life, we feel like everything is over. That anxiety and depression comes up again and we're feeling like, why are we being punished? What is going on with my life? But this is your moment to wake up to the truth, to answer those questions and say to yourself, why am I this is a redirection. Ask, why is this happening? Not why me or woe me. Life happens for you, not to you. So ask yourself the question, what is this trying to show me? Where is this going to bring me? You know, things only change if we refuse to change them. So we have to embrace that change and ask yourself, where do I need to go? And ask yourself those questions. Because like when we're in this bubble of darkness, as we call it, you don't know what your purpose is. Yes, every day you're starting to feel those nudges or hear that voice in your head say, is this all there is? Should I not be here for more? You're here to live a life of fulfillment, a life of service to this planet and to other people. You know, and that's what it is. You're here to help the world. And you can't help the world if you're in this bubble of darkness, continuing down a path that's no longer for you. So what do? You ask every question. Why did this job end? Does it mean I need to get another job? Or does it mean I need to work for myself? Probably that you need to work for yourself. Ask yourself why that relationship ended. Was it a healthy relationship? No, because it wouldn't have ended if it was a good relationship. You know, ask yourself why you're not feeling comfortable around certain people anymore. Why your body doesn't feel right in certain situations. These are all little nudges to tell you this isn't for you. Then ask yourself, or ask the angels for guidance, what is for you? Where do I go next? Like every ending is the opportunity for a new beginning, and it is a new beginning because the universe only clears things out of your life to make room for what you're supposed to have, to make room for bigger and better. The old foundation crumbles because it was never solid in the first place. The mask you were wearing your whole life to fit into a world that wasn't for you is going to crumble, it's going to fall off. And you're going to be able to, I love this part of this journey. Every next step, you become a better version of yourself. That's beautiful. Your transformation is continuous. Now, that's the most amazing part of this. Like, I'm not who I was a week ago, let alone a month or a year ago. And I think, like, when I started my journey, you know, it would have been longer periods of time. Like, you know, I'd look back maybe over 6 months and go, geez, I'm different than I was 6 months ago. But now it's getting smaller. As in, like, I could say safely that I'm a different person than I was last week. Because, like, you know, every week I go through more healing. And every week I become a better version of myself. And I'm stronger and more confident because of it. I think the hardest part of our spiritual awakening is facing our truth. Because that's one thing that will come up. When we're going through this, we have to heal our trauma. It's a given. The only way the reason we were living so conditioned or in that bubble for so long is because we were afraid to face what we needed to heal. But spiritual awakening is going to help you guide you into facing that trauma. And it's in it's in releasing all that heaviness that you get to see who you are underneath it all. Who you were before, well, I'd like to say who you were before the trauma, but who you are after the trauma, because the trauma makes you who you are. It really does. Your past makes you who you are. It doesn't define you, but it grows you. And that's an important thing to see as well. So every next step will produce a new version of yourself. But every next step, you're going to have to say goodbye to the old version. Say goodbye to that old energy. You won't be going through this anxiety and depression forever if you continue onto the right path. You know, if you start doing things in alignment with your soul. And, you know, it can be very difficult, especially, like, I remember when I first awakened, I finally thought I found my purpose. And then I had a relapse. And I was like, what the actual fuck? And I kind of had to start all over again. But I found my true purpose, which is helping others, and that's coaching. You know, and that's what fills my soul with joy. And that's one beauty of this. You know, one of the hardest things on this journey is like, what am I here for? You know, that's the question that keeps going up. Who am I? What am I here for? What the fuck have I been living? You know what I mean? What is this all for? Like, this is, you know, you're trying to figure out the truth. But when you do that healing, when you do that work, when you follow your truth and follow that guidance to leave those situations that no longer serve you, your calling will literally be handed to you on a plate. The universe will just go, here you go. I know you've been looking for this, but you didn't have to look. You're ready now, so here you go. And that's the thing. We keep looking and looking and looking and searching and searching and searching, and we won't find it. We won't find it. It will be given to us when we're ready. So even though you might feel like you're going through an existential crisis, or you might be, your whole world is falling apart, this is actually the chance to rebuild again. This is your rebirth, effectively. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I was born in Dublin. I grew up in you know, the middle of Ireland. But I believe that my true home, the place that I was reborn, is Cork. It's where I live now. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You are reborn into your true self. This is it. And it's time to, and that's the thing with the death and rebirth. Your old life will die and fall apart in order for you to be reborn into your true self. And that's the most beautiful part of this. So I promise you, it definitely is worth it. All of it is worth it. It's the most amazing experience that you'll ever go through. Even if it is hard at the start and in the middle and towards the end. And I'm not even at the end. It's an ongoing process. And it is a roller coaster, but it's the most enlightening roller coaster you'll ever go on. The highs are high, the lows are low, but the outcome is so, so beautiful and definitely, definitely worth it. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help on your path. I'd also like to mention that I'm doing my first free webinar on Friday the 8th of August at 6 p.m. Ireland UK time. I will be speaking on healing after narcissistic abuse, inner child work, inner teen work, and shadow work. Hope to see you there. If you need any information, just comment below or comment on the post in my community posts.